Hello, and welcome back to another Cabincast Ramble. I'm Oliver, and I am joined by Tan.
Hello,
And we are here with
Steven
another
Universe.
episode of Steven Universe. This one, Greg the Babysitter. Last time we'd Alone at Sea with Lapis and Jasper, and there was much to talk about, and once again, quite a bit to talk about here, and also songs, which we haven't had since Mr. Greg.
Oh yes, it's nice. It's
It
nice.
is.
And
And
this
really,
is where
it's the only episode with songs because Love Like You doesn't really count in Bubbled.
I guess not. This is where things get. This is like the last episode where we see Rose
Mm-hmm.
as like innocent.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
Since
really thought
we
about that.
sort of see her character development backwards because
Yeah, we do.
in future, like right at the end, we find out like bad things Rose has done, and in the movie as well. And then we sort of find out her sort of motivations and her story in sort of season 5, and then we find out some sort of bad things in 4. And then towards season 1, it's sort of showing her becoming a better person.
Yeah.
Ending up with Line 3 and the Cool Gang.
Indeed.
Those ones.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And this is one of those. This is the last Wholesome Rose episode.
Yeah.
And it's like, it might not seem that big, because from the face of it, it's just like, cool, Greg and Rose take care of a baby. But actually, this is like a very pivotal moment in Rose's character development.
It's very important, yes.
Very important. This is why she chose to have Steven.
It is quite possibly. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but you're absolutely right. So, yeah, where do we start this one, Tan?
We open the car wash.
Yeah.
And Greg is talking about how the car wash is more popular than it's ever been. Well, since
Indeed.
15 years ago.
When there was a Mudnado.
A Mudnado. 2 customers. And so basically Steven asks, how did Greg get the job at the car wash? And that's sort of where we get into the whole flashback.
Which always starts with a guitar.
Which always starts with a song. Since that's, that's how it works now in the Steven household. If you want to tell a story, you've got to sing it first.
It's pretty cool.
So we get, I Think I Need a Little Change.
Indeed.
Which is a good song.
It is pretty cool.
It's a sort of a kind of rock and roll kind of thing.
Yeah.
About how you don't have any money.
Yeah.
I Think I Need a Little Change is about how I think I need some money. But at the same time
it's about needing change. You need a change in your life, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Greg's having a great time. He's doing well with obviously Rose and Amethyst and Garnet, and Pearl's also there. But he's got no job. He's got not really any prospects at present. He's just kind of living day to day, eating food where he can find it, which is not great.
Exactly. Yeah. The first verse and chorus. The first verse is sort of about like man, Rose is super cool. I'm fine with, like, I'm okay with literally just existing as your boyfriend and nothing else. But it's kind of, it's not really meaningful. And all the things that Rose does inspires Greg to want to do something himself, because he can't really join in on missions.
He can't.
So what he needs is a little bit of change. He needs a little change in his mind.
Exactly.
In his life.
In his life, we got there.
And you can see them having a good time,
Yeah.
They're playing Nietzsche's Breakdown. They're reading erotic comics.
Yeah.
But, like, most of the time it's just, like, Greg's waiting for them to come back,
Yeah.
It's really cold, and he's starting to lose, well, he's not taking care of his body and his clothes and his hygiene, because he, like, rips his jeans, and then that's it, basically.
So, well, no clothes.
And then the second verse is about the money side of things, because while it may be a full-time job admiring all the ways that Rose is inspiring, well, it's not really a full-time job, because Greg needs human nutrition and food and stuff. And it turns out that this was a diegetic song that he was singing, busking for money. And that's kind of how he lives.
And what does diegetic mean for the viewers at home, Tan, in case they don't know?
That means that it's playing in the actual world when it's playing over the top of, like, as the narration.
Indeed. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool. I like it when they do that.
Yeah, because Steven Universe does flip between the two a lot.
Yes.
Because obviously Greg and, well, everyone in the Steven Universe pretty much is musically talented.
Pretty much.
That's one of its trappings. And so almost all of it's diegetic. Or you can make the argument that it is. Obviously some of it goes into a bit more, I don't know, a bit more hallucinatory than other bits, but like there's very few songs in Steven Universe which you can be like, yep, that one's 100% non-diegetic.
Yeah.
Love Like You being one of the only ones, I would say.
Yeah.
Because pretty much all the other ones, even though like they make everything more like a music video or something, like Stronger Than You and things like that, they're still happening in the universe. Obviously the kind of music that's added to it's not, but they're still singing a universe. Like Steven Universe the movie, which is a musical, and so everything they're singing about is kind of also over dramatized, but it's still happening, and basically the whole series is like that. But then within that, you still have the songs that are like Full Disclosure and Stronger Than You, which are singing and expanding the plot and not just songs. And then you have things like Lapis Lazuli / Wailing Stone, which are songs within the show.
Yeah, there's two sides to it. Even like Being Human is because he plays that on the radio, doesn't he? So I guess pretty much all of them except Love Like You are diegetic. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Greg is not in a great place in his life.
Nope.
He's eaten out of the trash can.
It's not good.
Which is kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it's not great. Thankfully, it's on the very top.
Yeah, it is.
Of the trash can, so it's slightly more understandable, but it's still very not good.
Even if I wasn't a germaphobe, I'd still say that probably wouldn't eat from a trash can. Unless I had to, which Greg does, so I guess it's fair. But really, Greg is very kind of this whole well, not this whole episode, but this beginning of the episode really shows Greg as like very irresponsible,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and kind of childish.
Yeah.
Because the first thing he does after not getting much money from busking is he goes to Vidalia, who's still living here
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
baby sour cream, little
Mm-hmm.
sour cream,
Yep.
single mother,
Yep.
doesn't earn a lot of money,
Yep.
and he eats all her food.
Yep. And why is he a single mother? Why is she a single mother?
Because Marty left.
Because Marty, who was Greg's agent,
Yep.
came here, met Vidalia, and then left. So when you put that spin on it, it's kind of even more Greg's fault.
I'm surprised that Vidalia wants to be around Greg, but I guess
She
she's pretty
she's she's a very good
chill.
person.
She's pretty
Uh,
chill.
Indeed, she is. But yeah, she has sour cream. Sour cream still looks like sour cream, just smaller, and it's kind of amazing.
He's still using the same voice actor, just going
Meh.
meh.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's showing Greg
Mhm.
being irresponsible. He sort of eats all her cereal
Yeah,
and then spills it all over the couch and himself,
he does.
which was gosh, I mean it's good milk and cereal. He just wasted. Oh well.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, he's a man child at present.
Yeah, a little bit.
We don't really get into much of Greg's backstory until future, and even then, it's still very patchy.
Yeah, we
Um,
don't have a whole lot.
but it very much seems like he goes from being in education to a musician to here.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really get a whole lot of time for growing up.
No.
And, that's why he makes the decision um to just drop everything and be with Rose, which to be fair, probably one of the best decisions he ever makes,
Hmm.
but still a very just spur of the moment decision. Um
Yeah.
and also why he's a bit like this and he needs to take some time to figure things
Mm.
out.
Mm. Sometimes when you um like we know that this is from future, but Greg
Mhm.
was like super helicopter parented. Like he
Yes.
would be chaperoned and supervised for everything.
Oh yeah.
But like sometimes as a reaction to that, a lot of people will go like completely in the opposite direction once they get out of that influence. So
Mhm.
someone who's been super, or like someone who's forced to be super, like stuck up and polite one way. As soon as
Yeah.
they leave their parents, they might like go crazy, go wild, at least for a portion of their life until they figure out who they want to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Greg's doing. You know,
Mhm.
he saw the he he left his parents behind, and then he never looked back. And it looks now he's homeless in a city. So I guess that's gone well for him.
Yeah. Indeed.
Um, on the on the on the TV,
Yeah.
it's like there's little butlers
Little
coming
butler
soon, coming
coming
soon.
soon.
Uh, yeah. But so I guess that's where we get Greg's hysterical laughter whenever Lil Butler comes on from.
Indeed.
But yeah, he completely spills everything all over himself and uh, takes his shirt off to do
Mhm.
some laundry.
Yeah.
At which point he learns that Vidalia is working at the shop, the t-shirt shop.
Mhm.
And Vidalia says, "You got to grow up sometime,"
Indeed.
and that's the sort of the primary message. That's what all of this is.
It
This
is.
whole episode's theme is about growing up.
It is.
But that's sort of where we get to the main premise here is that Vidalia needs to go to work and Sour Cream needs to be babysat,
Yep.
and so Greg is going to be the babysitter.
Greg is gonna be the babysitter. For
Um,
better or worse.
for better or worse, most likely worse.
Most
Um,
likely worse.
immediately, Greg is not being responsible because he's
Mhm.
the first thing he does is go to the beach with him.
It's, beaches are great, but keep the baby at home. That's where you left the mother with the baby, so stay at home with the baby. But yeah, did not do that.
Although it's nice to see that Greg is influencing the style
Yeah,
of
I
Sour
mean,
Cream by putting the sunglasses on his face.
sour cream definitely always kind of has like seems to like Greg as a baby, but yeah. Considering how Greg is so red as well, I really don't trust him with the skincare routine for the baby. Um, giving them suntan cream, which is bad.
Given that even now he's got that sort of bacon sun cream lines all
Yeah.
over the place.
Which, to be fair, he does put sun cream on him and he put him under the parasol, but still, I don't know. I do not know that
Seems to have
I
worked.
trust him. But yeah, sour cream stays like sour cream,
He stays pretty pale.
so it's pretty pale.
But then Rose appears.
Rose does then appear.
Um, and, well, is surprised at sour cream being there.
Mm-hmm.
Greg did not make it. Um,
Greg did not make him, no.
no. But they decide they want to, they're doing Greg and Rose things, having a
Mm-hmm.
good time.
Yeah.
They're going to show the baby how to beach it.
Yeah. Basically.
They having a good time basically, and sour cream just is vibing in the
It's vibing.
background.
It's great. Yeah.
And then we get to this another big Rose speech.
Oh, this is so good. This is
Yeah,
potentially one of potentially my favorite scene with Rose.
there aren't a whole
Uh,
lot of those.
there's not a great many. I mean, there's some great scenes of Rose that aren't great scenes, but yeah, no. To be fair, most of the scenes where Rose is, being, kind of positive or looking towards the future and stuff are all pretty good. Like her speech for Steven and stuff like that. But yeah, she explains about how it took her a long time to realize that Sour Cream and Greg are, they're both humans. Because one's big and talks, and one's small and only makes noises.
Exactly. And then Rose states that she started to notice that humans grow.
Yeah.
And Greg takes that to mean like, well, yeah, we get bigger. Can't play
Mm-hmm.
guitar with little baby hands. But what she really means is, yes, that, but also that people change.
People change. People, yeah, aren't the people that they were in the past
They
when they're
grow
older.
physically, but they also grow personality,
Mentally,
mentally.
which involves their personality, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not initially true of gems. They are made for a purpose,
Hmm.
and they are expected to serve that purpose and not question it, and that is all. And what we see throughout the show, with very few exceptions, is that, being on Earth causes gems to develop their own unique personalities and to grow. Um,
Exactly.
we see it most directly with Peridot, I would say, but it clearly happens to all of the crystal gems, and we see little bits of growth for them beyond the growth that we know that they've already done. Um, Lapis to a certain extent. Um, Even Jasper, kind of, by future,
Jasper
grows.
changes, but it's not necessarily in a positive direction all the
That's
time.
true. She changes, yeah. She maybe doesn't grow in the right direction, but yeah, everyone
Um,
changes.
yeah, and it's a great speech. The bit where she pauses for a bit
Mm-hmm.
and says "forever."
Yeah.
That is sort of where Rose comes to that realization because she's like, gems are supposed to be like this forever. Humans can only
Mm-hmm.
exist for a short time.
Yeah.
And so I will sort of, like as a gem, Rose will outlive Greg because she lives forever.
Yeah.
And that is not really what she wants to see in the
No.
world. There's something that she doesn't want, that she doesn't like about um, being a gem like that.
Yeah.
And she
No,
said,
exactly.
that it's incredible. It's an incredible power being able to change as a person,
Yeah.
and it's something that very few gems have.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like when you are in a society
Yeah.
or like a planet, because the whole planet doesn't change anymore,
It's true.
that doesn't change at all. Nothing in it
Mm-hmm.
changes
Yeah.
because everyone lives forever. There's no ecosystem on the homeworld.
Yeah. It's just all the same all the time.
How are you supposed to know that you should change?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Gem Empire could never last forever because of that. If its whole idea is about not changing, then
Yeah.
expanding to other planets is automatically going to expose gems to change. And that's what happened to
Exactly.
Rose.
Yeah.
And that's why she decided to leave. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, all of that meant like massive changes in the Gem Empire itself, like Era 2.
Yeah. Exactly.
All of that ended up changing things and
It
led to
did.
instability, which led to a prime opportunity for Stephen to bring them to a brighter future.
Yep. A brighter future that
Greg, on the
lies.
other hand, goes like, "Whoa, these lyrics are cool."
Which, like, yeah, they are, Greg, but you're missing the point again, buddy.
Yeah, he says, "Wow, they are something. Those lyrics are something profound and relatable."
Yeah.
And he hasn't quite realized yet that those things are profound and relatable to him,
Yeah. Yeah, he's
not
not
to a
quite there yet.
potential audience.
No.
But when Greg goes to get his notepad and guitar,
Mm-hmm.
Rose is gone,
Rose is
and
gone,
so
and
is
so
the
is the
baby,
baby, which is a problem.
which is a problem. He goes around searches for sour cream,
Mm-hmm.
and then gets distracted playing arcade games.
Yep, it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much, but it is Funland.
It is Funland. It is fun.
But he does find Rose eventually.
He does.
She says, "Oh, I watched him. I watched him climb all the way up there."
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's like You gotta explain what the what the specifics of watching means. 'Cause of course she's not gonna know. Yeah, he's on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, this will be a formative experience for him indeed.
Mhm. He seems pretty happy with it, so
Yeah, he's all right.
yeah. So
Greg
Greg
is,
parkours onto the Ferris wheel.
yeah, he's really good at it.
Yeah. Well, 'cause,
Um,
his life is on the line because Vidalia will kill him.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He's
Um,
very good at climbing, but a bit like a cat, he's not very good at getting down.
yeah, the adrenaline kind of wears off at this point, and he's like, "Oh." So he tries to get Rose to help him out, but it just starts spinning, and Rose breaks the control, and it just goes faster and faster.
Yeah, she
Sour
uses her
cream's
super strength to pull the
yeah.
lever, and it just snaps.
She punches the whole thing, it just gets even faster.
And then she just like grabs it, and the whole thing stops.
Stops, and they go flying.
They go flying. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
it's a good scene, but turns out, um, it turns out, well, sour cream's okay. And
Mhm.
we get this moment for Greg where he's like, um, he asks Rose why she let him do that,
Yeah,
and she simply said that he wanted to,
he wanted to.
and that's, obviously that's a beautiful thing,
It
to just let
really
people do what
is.
they want. And Greg says you can't let him do whatever he wants because he's a
He's a
baby.
baby.
He doesn't. He needs someone to feed him. He needs someone to change his clothes.
Mhm.
Just like,
Just like
just like
Greg did.
Greg.
Indeed.
He realizes that he is also
A baby.
a baby.
Indeed. Indeed. And yeah, it's he kind of takes sour cream back. Doesn't explain all the dangerous things they did, but sour cream was fine, so it's fine.
It all turned out okay in the end.
It did. It
Um,
did.
it did. And Medalia did not destroy him because he's still alive.
It's true, which is good. We like that.
And so he decides, hmm, maybe he'll get a job.
He does decide that, and
Thus
does
applies for It's a Wash.
for it's a wash, and
Uh,
yeah, gets the job,
It's the job.
and we get the other song.
We do. It's just a short one, but it's
It
let me
is,
drive my van into your wash.
yeah,
But that's it for the flashback.
it is it for the flashback.
That's both Greg and Rose realizing that they need to
Go,
grow. Rose realizes she needs to grow too, but the only way she can do that is by letting go of
yeah,
herself as a gem and becoming a human. But the only way she can
mm-hmm.
do that is by having Babi.
Indeed, in this case, yeah.
In this case, I don't know how far before, like, like when in the timeline this is, how long
Mm-hmm.
before Stephen was born. But given that it says coming this fall, Lil Butler, it could
Certainly
be
a
that this was only a few months before.
potentially. It's also unclear, like if it's a new season of Little Butler or what. Because if it's not a new season, then I'd say it's a couple of if it's the start of the show, I think there's a couple of years in here because I think him and Amethyst need to have their whole thing happen before they have the kid, really.
There is a 9-month gap. Like if that is at the if that's
Absolutely.
in the winter, which it probably isn't,
Mm-hmm.
it
I'd be
could
terrible
be.
place, to be fair.
I don't know how hot Maryland, Delaware, that area gets
No, me neither.
in the winter. Probably reasonably hot.
Pretty much.
But yeah, they did tape it, so maybe that's why, because they had it all on video, didn't they?
Yes, they have it all on video. Because I imagine they recorded it as it came out. So yeah, we don't know the exact timeline. You know, they're still Greg's still pretty young here.
We can figure out the whole timeline just by thinking about Lil Butler, the in-universe TV show.
I'm sure we could. But so
Game
so I mean, Greg is 44
Uh-huh.
in Steven Universe, and he first meets the gems when he's 22.
Steven's 13.
Steven's 13, which means there's Steven where he's 31.
31.
And the flashbacks take place between 22 and 26. So yeah.
So it's a few years yet.
Few years, yeah. Which is good because again, Greg is going, but it's gonna be a few years before he's ready for a child.
Yeah, he doesn't grow enough.
No.
He's still
Yeah.
I mean, he's still living in a van.
He's still living in a van.
I don't get the house until Steven's born.
It's true. It's true. But yeah, it's a really cool episode. And this one probably goes on the Greg trauma list, but for different reasons.
Formative experience.
Climbing a Ferris wheel and losing a baby.
Oh yeah, almost getting destroyed by the Dahlia.
Basically, yeah. And then I like the ending bit where it's like, what happened to baby sour cream? No one knows.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen to someone who's called sour cream
Exactly.
and was a baby and is now not a baby.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things I'm like, Greg obviously knows. Steven's 13. Steven knows people grow, right? Steven didn't go to school. Does Steven not know that? Maybe Steven doesn't know that. I'm not really sure.
Someday Stephen will learn about the existence of babies.
Well, exactly. But today is not that day. But yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun. Do enjoy this episode.
Indeed.
And yeah, like you said, it's the last time we get a nice past time Rose moment. Which is, or
also
at
the
least
last.
an entirely innocent pastime Rose moment. At the very least.
It's also the last sort of episode before we get the big plot.
Yeah, so like the plot's in the background of that one, but it's starting to come back. But yeah, from next time we're back in it to the end of the season.
Oh boy.
Next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically the next almost 10 episodes for the season. Because yeah, Alone at Sea and Greg the Babysitter have little bits and bobs of lore. So does Monster Reunion, in fact. The last few, but yeah. Gem Hunt and
Gem Hunt is sets up this whole late season plot.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. Which is kind of like a couple of plots.
Yeah.
Because interestingly, like Bismuth, which is a big part of the plot, actually has very little to do with the other plot that's around it. which is the whole Jasper thing. So that's interesting. Yeah, with that all being said, bit shorter this time, but again, Gem Hunt's the next one, and we do not have enough time to talk about that one.
Don't we?
No, because I need to be on a slightly sharper schedule today.
I see.
For doing some other things, unfortunately. So as tempting as it is, I want to give that episode the time that it needs.
Fair
That's all I
enough.
can say. And we get more Connie, which is good because we haven't had Connie in a while. And that'll be cool. But,
Indeed.
yeah. No, it's a cool episode. It's cool to see more Vidalia. Because she is a good towny character we have in the show. And yeah. Any other thoughts? I'm just trying to think.
It's another good episode.
It is. There's some like deeper things, but it's not, quite as deep as it is sometimes.
And it's nice to see some Rose and Greg character development.
Indeed it is. And with that being said, we'll leave this one here. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. There are uploads here on my behind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.